Well, welcome once again to my program. Always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to have you out there in a listening audience, and watching audience, I should say, too. I have a couple of people who've never been on a program before, and they're very special people. They're very special to me because they represent Diman Vocational High School. That's the school I graduated from some years ago. Very proud of it, too. I never forgot my training there, the discipline, and the craft that I learned. So we're going to talk about a new foundation, relatively new, and some of the projects that are undergoing there at the school. And well, Sawejko is a board member, and Kyle Alves, Assistant Superintendent Director. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rich. It's nice to be here with you. Thanks for the invitation.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. And my current position is Assistant Superintendent Principal.
Okay, Assistant Superintendent Principal.
Yeah, they didn't want to give me the director position.
When I went there, we had a director and we had the assistant director.
Correct.
And for a while there, one time we only had an assistant director. Something happened, I don't recall, to the director. Then we eventually got a new director, which was Mr. Harrington. So that was a few years ago down at the old school, as they call it, but the good school.
Yeah, it's still a good school. It's a great school.
Yeah.
Outstanding school.
Well, Carl, you're a board member, and on this foundation that's been recently established. Give us an idea of what this foundation is about.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again for being on the show. And Diman, as you know, is a great school. Even though I didn't graduate from Diman, I actually attended Bishop Connolly High School, graduated from there. But I got involved many years ago in the electronics program at Diman as an advisor when the electronics program was looking for some sort of renewal. And they were going to look at it in terms of possibly closing it because it didn't have the same appeal that it once held many years ago.
The electronics program.
Yeah, so believe it or not, it had really very little to do with the fact that it didn't have great appeal. It was just at the time, technology was moving so fast and it was way ahead of the curriculum at the school, so we had to think of a creative way to update the school and update the program so that it could once again be attractive. Well, that was about 14 to 15 years ago, and now it's one of the #1 requested shops in the school, and that's what brought me into Diman. Since then, I've had the great honor of receiving an honorary diploma, and I've been involved in a good number of boards and committees on Diman over the past 15 plus years that I've been at the school. I'd like to tell you, though, that the Diman Bengal Foundation was the idea of Mr. Edward Hill. And as anybody that knows Ed Hill, he's a great visionary. Ed's a good friend. He's a very good friend of Diman as well. And Ed, many years ago, came to me, even when he was on the school board at the time, the regional board, and he had this idea about a foundation. He said, I think it would be great that we would have some kind of a foundation to, as many other educational institutions do, to be able to continue the great things that Diman has started. What an educational foundation provides for an academic institution is it presents a new avenue for gift giving. And as you know, there are many schools that have alumni foundations and things like that. And they typically get involved in the scholarships. So those benefit students or groups of students, give them the ability to attend the school or to go on.
Let me ask you this now.
Sure.
People out there, of course, are listening. And let's say someone wants to make a gift. Who would they contact?
Well, if you go to the website, it tells you all about the Diman Bengal Foundation, or they can call the school. Dial the school's main number. I'm sure that Kyle can give them all of the
Call the school.
Call the school.
Go to the website.
Say that you're interested in making a gift to the foundation. Again, without this foundation, there wouldn't be a way for an organization or an individual. So many famous people have graduated from Diman Regional, have gone on to great things in their lives, and they want to give back to the school, but you need a vehicle by which to make that happen. That's the foundation.
Now, when we talk about gifts, it could be other than money. Is that correct? If someone had a piece of real estate,
could be anything.
And grandma's passing away, but grandson who graduated from Diman says, I got enough but I'd like to make a gift to the school. Could gift over the real estate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And eventually that would be marketed by some broker and sold.
Everything translates to money at the end of the day,
Proceeds
and then
which
the
would go into
proceeds
the
are used to go back into the
Bonds,
school. Right.
furniture, I mean rare furniture or things of that nature. So the gifts not necessarily have to be money.
No.
Am I correct?
No, no.
All right.
Rich, one thing I would like to emphasize, you're very correct in your direction about gift giving. However, the gifts, monetary and both property or merchandise, would go to the foundation
First.
first. Then the foundation, its board members, decide how to allocate the money back to the school.
Okay, let's
All the gifts.
yeah. Put this out to whoever wants to answer it, but you have a project that's underway at this time.
Correct.
Could you give us a little background of
Sure.
how the project was chosen and some of the progress made so far?
Sure. There was a need at Diman for the auto tech department to have a service center. The students in the auto tech department have been learning how to fix cars, troubleshoot, all parts of the competencies in terms of the state frameworks in the auto technology department. But what hasn't happened in the past is that students weren't given the opportunity to learn the soft skills related to the auto industry.
So,
And that's a service center.
like when you go to have your transmission looked at, worked on, you go to a service desk or center.
Correct.
And you get this explanation of what it might cost, how long the car has to be, the vehicle has
Correct.
to remain there. We talking about something like that?
That is correct. Nuts to bolts, from pricing, estimating, to entering of the data, the description of the job, and then that in turn gets submitted to the instructors and then to the students, and then they work on the cars.
Well, that's a pretty sophisticated operation, to say the least. Now, who
Yes.
came up with that idea?
John Chicaro and the Auto Technology Department, the staff members, Neil Aruda, Steve Monis, Steve Cludia, Derek Farias, and Mr. Chicaro are all of the instructors in the program. Mr. Chicaro is the department head, and collectively, they thought it would be best and enriched experience for the students to have experience with the service center.
Well, that's a wonderful idea.
It's so important for students to not only gain the technology skills on how to fix cars, but there's a tremendous job market out there for students, adults, to work in the service
Yeah, well, you have to
center
estimate
industry.
the time it takes, the
Absolutely.
parts needed, how long the vehicle might be, in a shop, you might say. Carl, a board member, you were part of this decision-making as to this
Absolutely.
project?
That's the beauty of a foundation, is many times faculty members always have ideas about enhancing their shops, enhancing the curriculum and doing things, but unfortunately those don't fit into the budgetary constraints that the school has to operate under. So many projects or initiatives have to be put aside because the funds are not available. That's really where a foundation can shine, and that's where the Diman Bengal Foundation provides that gap, that fills the void so that we can continue to be on the cutting edge of technology, whether it be in the automotive shop or any of the other shops. We can provide services and things that the students can have as part of their curriculum and part of their shop to further enhance their skills, which makes them a more marketable component at their graduation.
Now, recently some new ideas. This project is pretty much completed or will be completed soon?
Rich, I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah.
Actually, it's amazing the collaborative effort that has taken place to realize the Auto Tech Service Center. Many of the departments, other programs at Diman have been working on the building of the service center.
Carpentry shop,
The carpentry
electrical?
shop, metal fabrication and welding, electricity, plumbing, drafting, heating and ventilation.
So this is a real in-school project.
The students are building it.
Wonderful.
And every day, we go into the auto technology department and see the progress that students are making in conjunction with their instructors. So not only are the students in the auto tech department benefiting from this foundation gift giving, students in other programs are also benefiting
And that-
from the
and that-
hands-on experience.
And that translates to the other departments because they have similar concerns in their projects.
Correct.
If you're going to build a house, you have to estimate what it's going to cost. If you're going to do some electric work, you have to get into the building or house and make the estimates, figure out the parts. So it's really enhancing all around the educational ability of the students coming out of Diman. Now, some recent projects, Kyle, that have been
Well, last
Kyle?
night, the Diman Bengal Foundation met and approved 3 new projects.
3.
3. And they're going to be donating some funds to help the budget at Diman. One is specific to the athletic department, and it's a storage unit that we need to store all of the athletic equipment that we have at Diman. The school over the past 2 years has undergone a major renovation in the athletic department where the girls' locker room was renovated. Because Diman began primarily as a boys' school, the girls' locker room was very small, and it was not meeting Title IX requirements. So the school spent a great deal of time and money and effort. Mrs. Montleone, Mr. Benavides,
She's
Mrs.
the
Kenny.
Superintendent.
Yeah, Mrs. Kenny is the
She was
business
supposed to be
director.
here, but apparently has not been able to get here, but she's the superintendent of the school.
Correct. And Mrs. Kenny, who is the business manager, and Mr. Benavides, who is our facilities director, collaboratively worked together to realize a new locker room for the students that matches the size of the locker room for the boys. And they have a 21st century facility for them to change, shower, hold their merchandise. But as a result of that, we had to take tremendous amount of space away from storage and from offices. As a result, we have a need for more storage in the athletic department.
And that's going to be, I think you mentioned one time, or maybe last night, that that's going to be a completely separate building? Is that it, or an attached?
The proposal is to attach a structure to Diman, 2 parts to it. One part, smaller part, will be for the auditorium storage. The second part, the larger part, will be for the athletic storage.
Now, is this an in-house, you might say, project also, where students will be involved?
The plan currently is to contract parts of it out and have students work on different parts.
Well, I mean, these are fantastic, Carl, aren't they?
They certainly are.
Now, let me ask you this about the board, because I'm sure people out there who would like to make substantial donations are thinking in the terms of, do they get a tax deduction? Are you a 501c3, Carl?
Yes, we are. Yes. Actually, the money that you give to the foundation is tax deductible, as you give to any other charitable foundation. And the money goes directly into the institution. There are no administrative fees or anything like that, so 100% of your donations.
No broker fee.
No brokerage fees. It's all done at the school. There were a group of business people that got together to form this foundation. Alumni were involved, professionals, bank professionals to guide our hands, and attorneys as well, so that we have this set up as a formidable foundation that people can give to.
Let me ask this question now. Someone sitting out there want to donate $50,000 in Aunt Tilly's name, but they want something. In other words, to designate Aunt Tilly's room.
Well, that's the other thing about a foundation, that obviously we're brand new. We've only been around for just under a couple of years. It was formed in 2013, so we've been getting gifts. They've been pretty substantial, but I don't know if they've reached the altitude of naming rights, but that's certainly open. I mean, if there's someone out
So
there,
there's,
this school suffers from, for those of you that are not aware, the thing that bothers me most
But there could
about...
be like a scholarship. going off into the
Well,
wrong
the
direction?
scholarship and that, those
other
things
words-
really are, the Alumni Foundation and all of that gets involved in scholarships. We're basically getting involved in projects and initiatives that we can help support the school.
the building?
school itself,
Okay,
right.
so
And we work very closely with the Diman alumni, because that's a very important group as well. But the Diman alumni had some limitation in terms of the ability to finance money without, going out of the constraints of what they normally do. So the foundation it takes it to the next step and allows people to give money that can go directly back to the school for certain projects. Most of it is unnamed money because a lot of the ideas, remember, come from faculty. To really determine the needs of a school and the need for money in the school, you have to be part of the working group.
If you have a function, it might be noted in the brochure, the books that are handed out.
Oh, certainly.
Maybe a picture of the person who made the big donation, and
The best thing for someone to do is to call or notify us so that you can share your ideas about the gift that you want to give and what you might want to see it used for. Or maybe you might want to get some suggestions on, what are some of the needs that Diman has. And obviously we try to match the gift with the need. That's
some
the
people
big,
might think of placing a substantial amount of money into a trust fund,
Absolutely.
so to speak, which would allow, under the terms of the trust, that the Diman Bengal Foundation would be able to receive, we'll say, $10,000 a year or $20,000 a year for the next 10 years or 20 years, or maybe just the interest. So if there's a couple of $1 million in a trust fund, maybe the foundation would be entitled to the interest on that money each year. Is that something that is I'll say feasible, or
Absolutely.
something that's acceptable?
Absolutely. And certainly anything that we would venture into would be gone over by attorneys and folks in the field that would be able to guide us as well.
So in other words,
we haven't been that lucky yet, but I'm sure that there are some very...
Might be someone sitting out there.
Oh, I'm sure there is. And
I hope so.
That's why we're here.
And
Because if
they
there was-
might just need a little help.
if there was ever a school with a need, it's certainly Diman. What hurts me most is we turn away hundreds of students a year because we don't have the room for them. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we were able to expand the offerings at Diman in order to accommodate these young folks that not only want to have a good foundation education, but also want to possess a skill? Diman reaches two levels. Many people don't understand that. Many years ago, we thought as technical vocation as a place where you would put a student that didn't fit into the normal high school environment because of their inability to be skilled at mathematics, or that's no longer the case.
I went to school, I went to Diman, like I mentioned, and I met some bright guys.
Absolutely.
And you know why they were there? Not because they couldn't be in an academic environment in a regular high school. They were thinkers. They were speeding ahead in what they wanted to do, and the regular school system could not give them that. So, in other words, I've always been a strong advocate of vocational education. I'm sure you were the principal.
Correct. I
You might
actually
have
started
found that
my
in your
career-
student body.
I started my career in a comprehensive school as an English teacher, then as an administrator, and then luckily I was able to earn a job at Diman. Why? Because I'm a 1986 graduate of the electronics department
At Diman.
at Diman. And vocational education, the reason why I chose a vocational education is because of the fact that I wanted to be an inventor. Like you said, a thinker.
Yeah.
And I chose electronics because I wanted to learn a skill to apply to inventing new things for the future, especially helping students, adults, members of our community who are disabled. In fact, I have a wife who's deaf, so I am constantly looking for new ways of helping out the people who are disabled. And being a member of the electronics department and through the trades fair program, I was actually able to design, when I was a student, a system by which a disabled individual was able to turn pages of a book without using her hands.
Wow, that's really...
That was my experience at
Yeah.
Diman. Now our students, we have 16 shops. We have an eclectic range, diverse range of students, from thinkers to hands-on mechanics to students who want to excel in college, and to students who want to go on to careers or the military after they graduate. And one thing I love to emphasize is that why we're such a good school, because we have a disciplined student body, a student body that's respectful of each other and respectful of adults, and they're learning how to conduct themselves in areas of
There's a lot
work.
of camaraderie there, as we say in the military. And I still meet monthly with graduates from my class for breakfast.
I heard.
And
Breakfast club.
These guys are wonderful.
Yeah.
They are. You know, and I read an article a number of years ago about companies in Germany, like auto companies, etc. And what they did was they started the engineers off that they hired with a file and a piece of steel. And they'd have them file that steel so it would be smooth and you could put a square on it and it was level. And that's how I started off in a cabinet making shop with a block of wood,
Wow.
plain. And I thought, this was crazy. I'm not here to do this. But
Taught you a skill.
that's right. And they do that in Germany, even today, because the hands and the eye coordination, that ability to think and do something and make a product holds for all the shops.
Rich, you just segued into a perfect opportunity to bring up the second project.
Okay.
And that is the machine tool technology lab space that has been proposed. The foundation is going to donate substantial amount of money to realize the construction of a CAD area for the students.
Okay, would you explain what that is, a CAD area?
CAD is a technological program for design.
Okay.
Okay, and what we're going to do is convert unused storage space into a classroom, house it with the technology, computer technology, and so the students will have a hands-on learning experience that is commensurate with the program they're in. Our machine tool technology program is nationally recognized.
I've been in that shop, and the machines in there are amazing. Matter of fact, they're scary.
They are.
In fact, one of our students who graduated from the machine tool technology program made his way to a international competition for Skills USA.
Oh.
And
that's
each
coming
year-
up May
Yes.
May 1st.
May
Diamond
1st.
is participating.
At the
That's
state level.
Carl, you're going to be there. You were
I
there last
can't make
year.
it this year. I did make it last year.
In Marlboro.
Marlboro, yes.
Yeah, so that Diamond students are representative, and they always do good.
And they,
Oh, we do very well.
They
Yeah.
come back with a lot of medals.
Yeah,
And then we
that's
go on to
amazing.
the national competition, and we'll bring back even more medals
Well,
this year.
get us to the last project because we're getting down to the end of the program.
Sure. The last project is very important to the school. It is the realization of a 21st century physics lab.
Wow,
The
that's-
foundation has allocated allocating holding funds about $20,000. During the course of this year, we're going to be planning that science lab in conjunction with other institutions of higher education in order to design a lab that is 21st century, design a lab that fits the needs of our students, that we can use to prepare our students in the area of physics.
And that's all for all students, is that correct?
Correct.
All students, because I remember taking the physics course when I was going to Diman, and all the students, I'm sure, had to take the same course. And I'll never forget it. I mean, it was fantastic.
Correct.
And I imagine, you know, with a laboratory.
The physics program is very popular. We also have biology, we have chemistry. Physics is another area that we are testing our students in MCAS through the Physics First program. So what we need to do is present our students with the technology and the innovation that will prepare them for high stakes testing, but also to prepare them for the higher level thinking skills they're going to be required to use in their shop areas to problem solve.
So some students might go on to higher education, engineering, things of that nature.
Correct.
I mean, BCC has a high percentage of graduates from Diman. A high percentage, and they're graduates from Diman. That's remarkable. But it's understandable because, like you mentioned, they have the discipline. They understand how to take a project and work it. And even if they don't succeed the first time, we were taught, try and try, keep doing it until you get it right. Carl?
Absolutely.
The foundation, what's the future of the foundation?
Well, the future of the foundation basically lies in the hands of everyone that's out there watching our show today. If you have an opportunity, if you have the desire and the wherewithal to be able to help the young students at Diman, remember, these are the ambassadors of tomorrow. You know, as we all age, we're going to depend on these young people to make sure that society carries on, and with technology going at the rate it does, it's very difficult for many schools to be able to keep up with this and to be able to train students and adequately prepare them. But I can assure you that Diman does a very good job of that, and we need your help. For those of you who are considering making a donation to the foundation, get in touch with us, call Diman, try to get some more information. There's a limited amount of information on the website, but you can reach out to anyone, and we'll be more than happy to talk with you about the foundation and give you the opportunity to give us ideas too, because we're open to new avenues. But remember, the gifts that come to the Diman Foundation go directly back to the school, and those funds are used to be able to help a wide number of students. You know, rather than just being able to limit to a scholarship as you do in many others where a single student or a single group of students, whatever we do now will benefit the future of Diman in many,
Now,
many ways.
Suppose we have someone out there once again, and they'd like to donate some materials. The lumberyard says, you know, I understand you have this project going on. I'd like you to come down here, and I want to make a substantial donation toward the lumber of the project, or to the masonry work, if there's any of the project. So that could be funneled through the foundation?
We're open to anything. There have been many companies over the years who have come forward and helped Diman with various different projects. The best way to do that is to keep in touch with the school. Look on the website.
Correct.
There's a very progressive website. If you go on there, there are some clips. Diman has various clips on YouTube for Pi Day this year. They did an incredible student project that was seen around the world on YouTube.
Carl, you get the last word, a couple of seconds?
I would just like to thank the foundation for donating their time, their efforts to help students realize their goals.
Good.
And each and every time a project's completed, with the help of the foundation, students are benefiting because they're being better prepared for college and for careers.
Gentlemen, thank you, and I want you to come
Richard.
back on the program again. Give us an update of what's going on at the school, the projects, the foundation, and anything else you might have that's you think needs to be emphasized. This is a great recruiting venue. And I want to thank everybody out there for watching. I enjoyed this program because to me it's very nostalgic. And I want to remind everyone that Memorial Day, we've got the Miller Monument. That's at the intersection of South Main and Shove Street for Corporal Miller. We'll have the ceremony 11:30 in the morning. I'm sure we'll have many dignitaries there. The Police Honor Guard usually shows up. Remember, Corporal Miller served in the military, died in the Philippines, and his body was never recovered, and that's the symbolic resting place for our Corporal Miller of Fall River. So thank you out there for watching.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
Thank you.